Welcome to the Explainer. So today we are digging into a pretty wild story. How did Apple, the most valuable company on the planet, manage to lose $1 trillion in value and on top of that finding itself fighting battles on basically every front? Since it hit its peak, Apple's stock just has taken a nosedive. We are talking about erasingly nearly $1 trillion in market value. And just so we are all on the same page, that's a one with 12 zeros after it. It is a staggering number. And look, this huge loss. It is not just some number on a spreadsheet, it's a huge red flag. It's a sign that Apple is in a fight for its life, really. And the craziest part, it all started with a single tiny update to one of the biggest video games in the world. Alright, so before we jump into all courtrooms drama, let's just take a quick look at the damage that has been done on a Wall Street. You have got competitors like Nvidia and Meta skyrocketing, right? But Apple, they are stuck dealing with massive court cases. And honestly, as you are about to see, the lawsuit is really just the tip of a very, very big iceberg. Okay? So where did this all kick off? Well, it all started with a very carefully laid trap. And the ones who sprung it, the makers of Fortnite, now you got to understand this was not some spur of the moment things. Oh no, Epic Games spent years getting ready for this fight. We are talking public callouts way back in 2015. A secret plan called Project Liberty. They literally engineered this whole showdown, and get this, they filed the lawsuit the very same day Apple kicked Fortnite out of the Apple Store. Talk about being prepared. So what was this all about? It was down to something called the Apple tax. Basically a mandatory 30% cut that Apple took on everything. You buy a new skin game, a subscription, anything. Apple got nearly 1/3 of that money, and they were super strict about it. They even banned developers from just putting a link to their own website where you could get a better deal. And Epic, they were smart about this. They framed the whole thing as this classic David versus Goliath story. They came out saying, hey, this isn't about the money for us. We want to break what we see as an illegal monopoly and open things up for all developers. So the first time this went to court, the ruling was kind of a mixed bag. The judge said, okay, Apple isn't technically a monopoly, which was a big win for Apple. But she also said that stopping developers from linking out their own payment pages, yes, that's illegal under California law. And that one little part of ruling, it opened a door that Apple immediately tried to slam shut. And man, did Apple fight it. They thought that ruling for 4 years, taking it all the way to the Supreme Court, and in 2024, they finally lost. But here is the kicker. Their idea of complying with the order, it made just everyone even angrier. So Apple's version of compliance was, well, let's just say it as a pretty shady. They were like, okay fine, you can make your external links, but then they slapped a new 27% commission on any purchase made through those links. You add in the regular payment processing fees, and guess what? The cost of basically identical to the old 30% system. They barely changed a thing, and it was not just that. They made the whole process super difficult and honestly kind of scary for the user. You click a external link and bam, this giant forwarding screen pops up, making it seem like you are about to doing something really dangerous. We are talking about links to trusted places like Netflix or Spotify. It was less like a helpful platform or more like I saw one source call it a toxic parent, which kind of fits. You can probably guess the judge was not happy. Not at all. She come back with this absolutely blistering follow-up and basically said Apple completely ignored the whole point of her ruling. They just swapped one ridiculous fee for another one. And this is where you really see how furious she was. She straight up accused an Apple VP of lying under oath. She revealed that Tim Cook himself had been advised internally to just comply and ignored it. And then she even suggested a criminal investigation might be needed for how defiant they were being. She ended it with this killer line. This is an injunction, not a negotiation. And you know what? That final smackdown from the judge, that was tipping point. The dam just broke. All of a sudden, you had major apps like Spotify and Patreon immediately rolling out their own payment option. And yep, Fortnite was finally allowed back in the App Store. So you might be thinking, okay, lawsuit over, Apple troubles are finished, right? Well, not so fast. Because while this was a huge loss for them, that whole lawsuit, it was really just a symptom of a much bigger, deeper problem for Apple. Yes, as damaging as that whole legal battle was, it's actually even overshadowed by even bigger crisis. And this one, it is a mess entirely of an Apple own making. I mean, the scale of Apple's dependency on China is just, it's staggering. Think about it, over 95% of the main products we are taking, iPhones, iPads, Macs, they are all made and put together in China. So let's be real clear here. They are not just reliant on China for their entire hardware business, they are completely and utterly dependent. And that exact same time, their grip on the huge Chinese market is just crumbling. Apple has fallen to third place over there. iPhone sales have plummeted by more than 18%, mostly because local brands like Huawei and Vivo are putting out really good phones for a lot less money. And to making things even worse for Apple, Beijing is tightening the screws. They have passed a bunch of new laws that basically give the Chinese government control over the Apple's data, force them into a corner on Western sanctions, and could even give them a seat on Apple's local board of directors. The walls are closing in, and according to an Apple veteran, the blame for this whole mess lands right at the feet of the CEO, Tim Cook. And here is the irony, right? He is the guy who is famous for being a supply chain genius. He is the one who built this super efficient system that now turns out to be super fragile. So now Apple is scrambling to find a escape hatch. They have trying to move production to places like India. But here is the thing, you can't just undo decades of dependency overnight. It is like trying to turn a giant cargo ship on a dime. Experts are saying it could take 10 maybe 15 years before a new supply chain even come to close what they had in China. So when you step back and connect all these dots, a really clever picture starts to form. Whether you are talking about the courtroom drama or the supply chain crisis, these problems are pretty much all self-inflicted. For years, Apple just pushed its luck, they enjoyed these insane profits and this incredible efficiency, and now, well, it looks like the bill is finally coming due. It is a perfect storm of crisis, isn't it? And it all suggested that Apple's long region of dominance, well, it might not be a sure thing anymore for a company that honestly seemed invincible for so long. It leaves us all with one big question: what's next?